Welcome to Why We Forget Most of What We Learn. I'm your host, and today we're digging into why knowledge slips through our fingers and what to do about it. With me is a cognitive scientist who studies memory and learning. Thanks for being here.
Thanks for having me. I'm excited to talk about forgetting. It sounds gloomy, but it's actually a superpower once you understand it.
Let's start right there. Why do we forget so much? Is my brain broken, or is this normal?
Totally normal. Think of memory as a smart filter, not a perfect camera. Your brain is built to keep what's useful and let go of what's not. 3 big forces drive forgetting: weak encoding, interference, and retrieval failure. Weak encoding is when something never really got in solidly, maybe you skimmed it. Interference is new information crowding or overwriting old info. Retrieval failure is when the memory's there, but you don't have the right cue to pull it out.
So the classic, oh, it's on the tip of my tongue, is a cue problem.
Exactly. The file exists, the label is missing. The other piece is the forgetting curve. Over a century ago, Ebbinghaus showed we forget a large chunk of new info within hours or days unless we revisit it. But that drop-off isn't a flaw. It keeps the brain efficient. What we repeatedly retrieve tends to stick.
That's a relief. If forgetting is normal, why do so many of us feel like studying is working when it isn't?
Fluency illusions, rereading, highlighting, or watching a video can feel smooth. Your brain mistakes familiarity for mastery. You recognize the idea right after you see it, so you think you know it. But recognition isn't recall. If you can't pull it up without the book, you don't own it yet.
Ouch. Guilty. So what should learning feel like when it's actually working?
A little bit hard. We call them desirable difficulties. Effortful retrieval, spacing, and mixing topics are less comfortable in the moment, but they create durable learning. When recall feels slightly shaky and you have to reconstruct it, that's where the growth is.
Give me the quick map of how memory works. What are the stages I should be thinking about?
Encoding, consolidation, and retrieval. Encoding is how you first take in the information. Attention and meaning matter here. Consolidation is the stabilization, which sleep and time support. Retrieval is accessing it later. Retrieval isn't just a test, it's a learning event. Each successful pull strengthens the pathway and adds new cues.
You mentioned attention. How do phones play into this? Am I doomed if I study with notifications on?
Not doomed, but handicapped. Multitasking splits attention and increases switching costs. That means weaker encoding and more interference. If you can, create a focus window, 20 to 45 minutes, phone face down, notifications off. Even small interruptions like checking a message can knock 20 to 30% off your effective learning for that session.
Okay, let's talk fixes. If someone wants to remember more from a class, a book, or training at work, what should they do differently tomorrow?
4 moves. 1. Retrieve before rereading. Close the book and write what you remember. Headings, key ideas, examples. 2. Space it out. Revisit across days instead of cramming. 3. Interleave. Mix problems, topics, or contexts. 4. Elaborate. Connect the new idea to examples, analogies, your own work. If you want one more, sleep. It cements memories.
Let's make that practical. Can you give a simple schedule?
Absolutely. After your first learning session, do a quick recall the same day. Then brief reviews at 1 day, 3 days, 1 week, 2 weeks, and 1 month. It can be as short as 5 minutes of retrieval each time. Think 0, 1, 3, 7, 14, 30. Adjust based on difficulty. If you're nailing it, lengthen the gap. If you're shaky, shorten it.
How exactly should those reviews look? I don't want to just reread.
Active prompts. Try these. Without looking, write a 1-paragraph summary. Create 3 questions someone might ask on the topic and answer them. Do 2 practice problems cold, then check. Explain the concept to an imaginary colleague or a past version of you. Generate an example from your life that fits the concept.
You've said retrieval is learning. Is testing myself the same as studying?
When done right, yes. This is the testing effect. Practice recalling what you want to remember. Flashcards, short answer prompts, teaching, whiteboard explaining, they all count. The key is to try first without peeking. Even unsuccessful attempts prime the brain. When you see the answer after you try, you learn more than if you'd read it first.
What about making notes? Is there a smarter way than highlighting everything in neon?
Definitely. Try this flow. During the first pass, write down questions and a few key ideas, not everything. After the session, do a 2-minute recall from memory, then write a brief summary in your own words, plus one concrete example. Later, turn your notes into prompts, questions on one side, answers on the other. That way your notes become a retrieval engine, not an archive.
I've heard of spaced repetition apps. Do you recommend them?
They're great for facts, vocabulary, formulas, names, stuff where exact recall matters. Make cards that ask for one thing per card, in your own words, with real examples. But don't turn everything into a card deck. For big ideas, mix in concept maps, short written explanations, and practice problems in changing contexts.
How does sleep fit in?
Sleep is non-negotiable for consolidation. Deep sleep and REM help stabilize and integrate memories. Cramming late into the night can feel heroic, but a solid night's sleep after a good study session is a better bet for long-term retention. Also, a brief review before sleep can be powerful because the material is active as your brain consolidates.
Any tips for language learners specifically?
Make it conversational early. Short, frequent sessions beat long, rare ones. Use retrieval in context. Speak or write sentences from prompts, not just translate. Mix listening, speaking, reading, and writing. Interleave themes, ordering food, directions, small talk, rather than drilling a single unit to perfection. And cycle vocabulary back with spaced recall in varied sentences.
And for the workplace, trainings, onboarding, certifications.
Design for forgetting. Break content into small modules, follow up with spaced nudges, short quizzes, scenarios, or decision checks over weeks. Use realistic cases to create retrieval in the same context you'll need on the job. Encourage managers to ask one practical question in one-to-ones each week so people have to retrieve and apply.
You've painted forgetting as a feature, not a bug. When is forgetting actually helpful?
Often. Forgetting clears clutter so the useful can stand out. It helps generalization. If you remembered every irrelevant detail, you'd struggle to see patterns. The brain is a prediction engine. It compresses experiences into models. We want to keep the model, not every pixel. That's why varied practice is powerful. It teaches the model what really matters.
Can we talk about names? People dread forgetting names.
Use 3 quick steps. See, say, link. See, pay attention and get the name clearly. Say, repeat it naturally in conversation. Link, attach a vivid image or feature. If you meet Maya, who loves hiking, imagine her on a mountain with big letters MAYA on the trail sign. It's silly, but concrete images create strong cues.
What about dense technical material? Any tweaks?
Alternate between overview and detail. Start with a skim for structure. What's the main question, the key variables, the punchline. Then tackle one piece at a time and practice recalling it. Teach a short chunk to yourself out loud. Build a tiny worked example. And interleave. After a section on, say, algorithms, try one problem, then switch to a related but different concept before returning.
Any common myths you want to squash?
A few. 1. Learning styles. No strong evidence that matching instruction to a preferred style improves learning. Use the best method for the content. 2. Multitasking. Most of us task switch and it hurts learning. 3. 10,000 hours guarantees mastery. Quality and structure of practice matter more than raw hours. 4. I just have a bad memory. Memory is trainable with strategies like retrieval and spacing.
What about the emotional side? Stress, boredom, motivation?
Moderate stress can sharpen attention. Chronic stress hurts encoding and sleep. Boredom signals low meaning and weak cues. Boost meaning by asking why this matters, to whom, and when. Set tiny goals. Use time boxes, 25 minutes on, 5 off. Reward progress, not perfection. And study in a mood you expect to be in during performance, or at least vary the context so your cues are flexible.
You've given a lot. If someone wants a simple, memorable plan, can you package it?
Use the REASE plan. Retrieve, interleave, space, elaborate. Retrieve. Close the source and recall before checking. Interleave. Mix topics, problem types, and contexts.
Space. Revisit on expanding intervals. Elaborate. Explain it, connect it, make examples.
Let's do a rapid-fire scenario. I read a chapter tonight. What do I do?
Immediately after reading, write 5 bullet points from memory and 1 question you still have. Tomorrow, answer that question without the book, then check. In 3 days, do a 1-paragraph summary and 1 practice problem. In a week, teach the gist to a friend or a rubber duck. In 2 weeks, case apply it to something you actually care about.
And if I only have 10 minutes a day?
Perfect. 10 minutes of focused retrieval beats an hour of passive browsing. Pick 1 concept, recall it cold for 3 minutes, check for 2, create 1 example for 3, and tag when to revisit for the last 2.
Final curiosity. Is there a place for memory palaces?
Yes, especially for sequential or list-like info. Steps, speeches, classifications. Build a familiar route and place vivid, quirky images along it. For conceptual understanding, combine that with problems and explanations, or you'll have ornate memories without deep transfer.
Before we wrap, can you summarize the 5 biggest takeaways?
1. Forgetting is normal and useful. Don't fear it. 2. Retrieval beats rereading. Try first, then check. 3. Spacing turns short sessions into long-term memory. 4. Mix and connect. Interleaving and elaboration drive transfer. 5. Protect attention and sleep. They're the foundations of consolidation.
This has been packed in the best way. Any parting advice for someone who's felt stuck?
Start tiny and consistent. Pick 1 idea you learned today, and before bed, explain it in your own words on a sticky note. Set a 2-minute reminder tomorrow to recall it without looking. You'll feel the difference in a week. Make forgetting your training partner, not your enemy.
I love that. Thanks so much for joining and for making memory science so usable.
Thanks for having me. Here's to remembering what matters.